We're going to work on unlocking business potential with AI, focusing on a strategic approach. You have to have the strategy right before you start all of the different steps that it takes to incorporate and implement AI in your work. And this webinar and training session is going to get you started. In today's agenda, we are talking about an introduction of AI and the evolution, where it's grown from the 1960s to now. We'll talk about the general AI landscape, have a look at some ways you can use it for problem solving. We'll discuss prompt engineering, which is how you can write in a way that the AI tool that you're using gives you back the resources and content that you need in the way that you need it, in the media that you need it. Then we'll switch approaches to you looking at your workflow process and your business and how you can incorporate AI into the different steps of your processes. We'll figure out how to put it into action. And then I'm going to give you some useful AI tools, and we'll go through some testimonials and a question and answer period. The aim of this training is to focus on informing you about the origins of AI and its different applications for use. AI's applications are far and wide, so for sure you can incorporate it in some way. In contemporary business, with competitive advantages in many different areas, the role of artificial intelligence in shaping strategies and policies has never been more critical. So let's get started. But where did it all start? AI has a long evolution from the 1950s onwards. Here's a timeline that we will go through to talk about the evolution of AI up to about the present day. So we can see that in 1950 it started with the Turing test, where this computer scientist, Alan Turing, created this machine. Alan Turing created this test for machine intelligence. And he said that if a machine can trick itself and can trick a human, into believing that it is a human at the end, then it has passed the Turing test. This test has been done on many, many different models. We'll find one up in 1997 that I can use as a case. And then in 1955, AI, the term artificial intelligence, was coined by John McCarthy. In 1961, the first industrial robot was starting to replace humans on the industrial assembly line. And this was at GM, or General Motors, in the US. In 1964, a pioneering chatbot at MIT started holding conversations with humans, and it was called Eliza. And then in 1966, the first electronic person is a general-purpose mobile robot that creates its own actions and decides its own work and possibilities. Then from 1966 to 1997, there was a lot of experimentation. There was a lot of money put into models to try and up the computing and engineering possibilities. There were many false starts and there were many failures. But I don't know if you remember, in 1997, Deep Blue came about. And this shocked the world because it is a chess-playing computer from IBM. IBM challenged many different chess grandmasters to come and play against the machine and to help the machine learn more about the strategy and the game of chess. And in 1997, Deep Blue beat Garry Kasparov, who was the reigning chess grandmaster at the time. This really showed us that even though it was used in chess and not in general use and a useful tool that was on our laptops at the time, it could be used for many different areas. If the machine could quantumly think through all of the different opportunities and the pros and the cons of different moves in a chess game, then how would it behave when it's talking about strategy and business and your workplace? 1 year later, Cynthia Brazil at MIT introduced Kismet, which was an emotionally intelligent robot. So it could detect and understand people's feelings. It could understand if you were angry or disappointed or afraid, and it would be able to respond in a way that would help you understand its feelings as well. It's so interesting. In 1999, Sony in Japan launched the first pet dog, which we called Aibo. And Roombas started in 2002. Perhaps you have a Roomba at home, or you've seen them around in a friend's house. These are useful little robots that buzz around under your feet and clean up after you. In 2011, Apple launched Siri, which was a voice-activated assistant that you could get to use the iPhones, and you could ask it to do tasks for you, such as calling people, sending a message, ordering a pizza. In 2011, IBM came back with another product, which was called Watson. And in 2014, Eugene Gutzman, which was a chatbot, passed the Turing test that we talked about in the 1950s. Now we're cooking. We have intelligent machines that can imitate a human's actions, responses, thoughts, and processes. In 2014, Amazon came out with Alexa, which was more than just a home speaker system. It could do very similar things to Siri. It could take voice commands and create actions based out of this. I had an Alexa in my home for many years, and I found it very useful. In 2016, Microsoft came out with a chatbot called Tay. And in 2017, Google's first AI bot was AlphaGo. Since then, it has exploded with many, many different options, from OpenAI creating ChatGPT, DeepSeek coming from China, Google Gemini, and literally hundreds of other options that have burst out on the scene. This makes it very rich and very fruitful because we can find an AI tool to correspond with the tasks that we need to do. Let's explore the AI landscape in a bit more detail. Here are some examples of AI tools that you've perhaps seen. We have Adobe Firefly, which you can use for visuals, for video creation, etc. Another example is Bing, which gives you sensible search options using AI-powered search methodologies. DALL-E is something that can create images, and pictures and even short videos created by prompts. And Midjourney does a very similar thing, creating great images and illustrations for you. We have ChatGPT and Jasper in the middle. Bard AI from Google has been upgraded into Gemini, and you see OpenAI in the bottom on the right. So think about it now. What AI tools have you used? Have you tried any of these that are on the screen? Have you tried something different? Let us know by adding the comments in the training sessions below. I'd be very interested in knowing what you've used, how you've used it, and what the outcomes were. Now we're going to go to the meat and potatoes of our course, which is how to use AI for problem solving. Here we've got a chart that shows you 3 different sections. In the first column on the left, we have all sorts of different industries and sectors like food tech, logistics and transportation, healthcare, manufacturing, and information technology, or IT. In the middle, we have all the industries and the AI applications that can be used. So we can use AI for automation, for analyzing data and giving certain insights, for predicting, and for personalizing. It can analyze image and videos, it can assess your risks, and it can optimize your workflow processes. You can use it to make decisions and to support the systems, both internally and externally towards your clients. It'll improve your processes and customer service. You can use it for quality control, for research and development, and for marketing and advertising. And then on the right, we have another example of the series of businesses you can use it for. Legal businesses such as lawyers and advocates are using it already. It can be used for travel to help you create itineraries, search for cheap flights and hotels. You can use it in real estate, in fashion, and in hospitality. So think about your industry and your sector. Do you interact with any of these areas? Is there a section where you think that you could use AI to incorporate and implement some benefits, to make your workflow more efficient, to add value to your customers and clients, or to reduce a friction and a pain point? It's a really amazing tool. We're going to look at some other elements of problem solving that you can use AI for. You can use AI-generated tools for content creation. Part of this webinar was created using AI. I gave it all of the different agenda topics, the aims, the goals, the objectives, and the tasks, and I told it to come up with a 40-minute webinar. I could then take that, revise and edit the content to create this finished product. It can personalize experiences for you, elevate customer service. You can use it for art tools for illustration, and develop software using it. Did you know that 80% of code created nowadays is AI generated? You can use it in supply chain optimization, to discover new healthcare solutions. It's very strong in cybersecurity. And we've already discussed how robotics and autonomous machines have been around since the early 1970s. And finally, you can use it to bump up and improve your business intelligence, seeing how your competitors are working and how you can improve. All of these ideas are fantastic. You can see the industries, the sectors, and how you can solve problems. But you need to know how to engineer the AI tool that you're using to get the right response, the right solution, or the right end result. We call this prompt engineering. So, prompt engineering involves the design, refinement, and optimization of prompts, and the knowledge of the underlying artificial intelligence system. This process guides AI systems towards achieving specific outputs and content, and facilitating an effective interaction between the humans and AI. A prompt engineer is the person who tries to align AI behaviors with human intents. All of this means that you're trying to get out of the AI tool the best results that you are looking for. In good prompt engineering, you take into account 5 different sectors, and we'll go through these one by one. So here is a chart showing you, here's a diagram that illustrates the different areas for creating a very strong prompt to ensure that you get the results that you want. Up in the top right, we We start up in the top right with assigning a role. An example is given. Imagine you are a business development expert in the supply chain, and you have over 15 years of experience in your specific field. We then move on to give it a styling output. An example is, messages and emails should be informative, they should have a valid use case, and there should be a clear call to action as well. You're telling the AI how you want it to give the content to you. The third section is to add specificity, or to make it more clear about what you want. Imagine you would like to invite X person or organization to discuss how our supply chain management services can help your business reduce costs and increase efficiency. So you're asking it to give you more specific clues rather than something general. Let's move on to step 4. You can add conditions. You could say, you must also select the right use case and case study to be mentioned in emails and LinkedIn messages from the list I provide. So you're telling the AI to stick within the guidelines that you've given. And finally, you can provide data. So an example could be, your company description is X, so you copy and paste your company description, and your target client description is this, where you would copy and paste your target client. You could also give it a target client working on a specific case study. These 5 sections, assigning a role, styling the output, be specific, add conditions, and provide data, will ensure that any prompts that you put into the AI will give you the strong results that you are looking for. We're going to go through these one by one because it can take a bit of understanding in order to work efficiently. So, if you are going to be assigning a role, the example given was, imagine you are a business development expert in the supply chain with over 15 years of experience. I work a lot in learning and development and training, and I also work a lot in marketing as well. My roles could be, imagine you are a marketing specialist with 60 years of experience. You are working in the healthcare and nursing field. Another example from my areas of expertise could be, you are an educator and you are training the next. Another example from my area of expertise could be in learning and development. So I could type in, imagine you are an educator and you are training the next generation of teachers. You have over 30 years of experience and you are working in the education sector. What would your prompt assign? Think of your expertise and your sector and now assign a role for the AI. Type it out and see if this correctly describes and defines the expertise you are trying to give. In the styling outputs, you're trying to tell the AI the media and the content that you would like to receive at the end. So the example I gave was, messages and emails should be informative, there should be a use case, and there should be a clear call to action as well. So the artificial intelligence knows that it will be creating messages and emails. These emails should have a use case, and at the end there should be a call to action as well. If I'm talking about the marketing and the healthcare sector, I could say, create a press release for this new technology or software that we are releasing. Or in the education sector, I could say, create a webinar, a training session, or a lesson plan. Make it have 5 different sections, and make sure that it lasts around 40 minutes. Include a few case studies and a few tasks or actions that the end user needs to complete. Now the artificial intelligence knows how you want the results. You want to make sure that the artificial intelligence sticks to the clear guidelines that you've given. So if you need to, be more specific. The example given was, imagine you would like to invite Coca-Cola to discuss how our supply chain management services can help your business reduce costs and increase efficiency. You're telling the AI to create a case study, to focus on supply chain management, and to reduce business costs while increasing efficiency. An example in marketing could be you work specifically with X software, and an example in marketing could be you work specifically with Salesforce software on the WordPress platform, and we want the results in case studies and press releases. In education, you could say, this is for middle school teachers teaching in English in the Western Hemisphere in the United States and England. You could add some conditions like select the right use case and case study, mention it in emails, and LinkedIn messages from the list I provide. Other conditions could be similar for the marketing use case. You could add similar conditions for the marketing use cases or education. Or knowing you and your expertise and your sector, you're going to adapt and change this for what you need. Finally, step 5 asks us to provide data. So you can personalize and make this more unique so that the content is less generative and you can provide data such as adding your company description, your target clients, and your target use cases. This could be similar in the education. You could say you are doing this training for middle school teachers in the Western Hemisphere in the United States who focus on the humanities like geography and history teaching. Or you could say in marketing, we focus specifically on small to medium-sized businesses, and we try and take the marketing load off for you by offering fractional investments. These 5 steps go through how to create a good prompt and how to engineer the prompt to get the results you need. Now we're going to go through your workflow and the process of how you create your work. We're going to see at what points could you add AI to work more efficiently or to reduce costs or points of friction. Let's get started. Most often, AI is just a small part of a larger system, and it needs to work correctly in all scenarios with the other working parts of the end product. Engineers in this scenario already have the skills to be successful in incorporating AI. They have inherent knowledge about the problem and the tools for data preparation and designing modules will allow them to get started, even if they're not AI experts. This will allow you to leverage your expertise. Maybe you don't have AI incorporated in every section, but for sure you can find some uses for it. The first section, the first thing to do, if you're looking at how to incorporate AI in your process, is to prepare the data. You have to get your project ready, think it through from beginning to end, and create the process so that the AI can read it easily. Add human insights, because we are talking with a machine after all, and see if you can generate some simulated data to give it examples of what you would need it to do. The second step in the process is to use AI for modeling. So you're testing it out and seeing where you could use it. You could use it in model design and tuning, so seeing the overall processes and figure out where you can fine-tune it. You could look at the hardware accelerated training, so helping it make more efficient your training. And interoperability means allowing it to operate with different sections or sectors of the business. Some of this interoperability will work better than others. A third step is to simulate and test it. So you've got your data prepared, you've thought about how you can model it, and now it's time to iterate and test to see if it's going to work. You can integrate it with complex systems and see what the pros and cons are. You can use it to simulate the system, so you don't even need to connect it to interact with the system, but you can see how it could respond. And this will help you with system validation and verification, seeing what worked and what didn't, or maybe you need to go back to the drawing board and refine a part of the process. Finally, step 4 is deployment, so implementing it into the workflow. You can make sure that it is in the embedded devices that you're using as part of your hardware. If you have enterprise systems with many different connected sections, you can test its run through all the sections, and then see also how it is on edge, cloud, and desktop. A lot of this is going to be testing and iterating to see what works and what doesn't. Keep going, because for sure you can make use of artificial intelligence in your workflow. So now that you can see the different areas you could add it into your workflow process, let's put it into action. The first step is to understand where you are. How are you with your AI tools? What's your expertise? What is the sector that you're working on? What does your organization or non-profit or charity work on? Where are you right now and what could you use it for? Step 2 takes this further by identifying your goals with AI. What would you like it to do? Do you want it to work in the background, making things more efficient? Would you like to put it on the foreground and external on your website, maybe as a chatbot? This way you don't need to use customers. This way you can improve customer service by giving them the answers that they need right when they need it, rather than giving you a phone call or sending an email and waiting for a response. Do some research and find your own use cases for AI. For sure it's being used already in your industry and in your sector. So dig around and do some research on the internet and see what it's being used for and what ideas you could borrow and implement. Then you're going to create your workflow or your process. You can use the information on the previous slide to help you with this. And step 5 is to test and change in order to improve the processes, making it more efficient and better for you. Let's have a look at some useful AI tools. Here are 4 different sections that it can largely be used for. You can use it for content strategy and design. Let's have a look at some useful AI tools and see the 4 different sectors that we can use them in. The first is content strategy and design, brainstorming ideas for content topics, learning activities, or scenarios. You can use it to create high-level course outlines, generate quiz questions and assessments. You can use it as a thought partner and explore ideas and subjects in a two-way conversation. You can use it to support the operations of the business, writing emails, creating event agendas, writing feedback survey questions, role descriptions, reports, policies, and procedures, and you can use it to summarize documents. You could use AI to deliver the content. It's very good at content writing and scripting. It does a pretty good job at translation into different languages. It can create videos. Right now, the AI is improving. It's still got a little bit of uncanny valley to it, where you realize that it is a robot or an artificial intelligence you're speaking to, but this will definitely improve in the future. You can use it for synthetic audio, for voiceovers for courses, or you can use it to generate images for your slides as well. And the 4th area you can use it for is for internal communications. It can write blog posts, posts on internal platforms, or your newsletters. You can use it to create course descriptions or describe these learning activities internally. And you can use it for internal communications planning. It's very useful, and for sure you can use AI. You might have to use 2 or 3 different AI tools in order to create what you need, as some of these are better than others for a specific purpose, such as creating images and illustrations.